Hello, my fellow seekers. Welcome to Into the Work, therapy for empaths, seekers, and the intuitively driven, where you have front row seats to therapy sessions and expert interviews that will help you define the important work that you're here to do. So I guess you actually have something better than front row seats. You practically have a seat on my couch. That's right, you will have unrestricted access to actual sessions with real people, exploring real life issues. You will continue to be inspired by powerful conversations with experts and healers that might just share exactly what it is that you need to hear to get unstuck. I am Michelle Pauverman. I am a recovering people pleaser and former anxiety-driven empath, turned now mostly grounded psychotherapist and intuitive coach. I have been helping people for almost 20 years manage their limiting beliefs and anxiety to finally stop the self-sabotage and step into their gifts. I created this podcast, Into the Work, to give you a place to learn more about yourself and give you actionable strategies to finally move those roadblocks holding you back so you can go for what you want. Above all else, my hope is that this podcast is a catalyst for your awakening. If you're listening, you've already taken a step towards getting off of autopilot, and our next steps together will be taken episode by episode, waking you up to the possibilities, the new ways of thinking and being, so that you can stretch into that next level of your story. The spark has already been lit, and my friend, this is a journey from spark to brilliance. So together, let's light a fire. Hi, welcome back to Into the Work, therapy for empaths and seekers. I was going to start today by asking you, hey, are you going through a change in your life right now? But then I stopped myself because I knew the more accurate question would be, what kind of change are you going through right now? And there are a couple of reasons why I know this would be more accurate. And that's because first, change is the one constant that we can count on. I know that change is happening for you. I already know that because change is happening all the time. And second, at the time of this episode, the energy of our world right now is all about change and expansion. And man, are people feeling it? I know I am. And I'm sure you are too, whether or not you really articulated it or, were conscious of it. But there is a lot of energy swirling around all of us this year, 2024, probably 2025. It's sort of a time of expansion for people here. And so there has been an energy that's been asking you to expand in some way in your life, to grow, to get bigger, to make changes. And that expansion always asks us to heal something in order to do it. So some of us feel this nudge and we kind of get excited and motivated. And some of us feel this nudge and we feel more anxious, avoidant. We kind of shrink. We kind of constrict, even unconsciously. We just kind of want to go dark when something like that comes up. But either way, you are impacted right now by the unknown that's lurking around the corner and calling you in. And because you pressed play, I know that in some way you are attempting to outgrow that which holds you back. I don't think you would be like, yeah, I need a pep talk, if you didn't know that in some way you're attempting to outgrow that which holds you back. Whether that be through seeking inspiration, deeper awareness, greater love, maybe more hope, maybe a big, bold spiritual daring, like dreaming big. It's possible that right now you also feel you have somehow been diverted from your purpose in some way. Perhaps you feel disappointment or loss is settling in right now and you sort of need to grieve. And that's the kind of change we're talking about. I actually decided to pull a card for this episode and ask for a message that I can kind of share in here today with you around this. And so I grabbed one of my favorite decks. It is the Mother Mary Oracle by Alana Fairchild. I'll put that in the show notes. The message was really beautiful, but I took a couple lines from it that I thought that you would appreciate, and I want you to hear them. So the message was that sometimes, and this is from the cards that I pulled two, but the message that I heard was that sometimes there is a sacrifice right? A sacrifice that you have to make. But sometimes there's a sacrifice of what could have been on the altar of a different future. And you need to grieve what has not come to pass or will no longer. Whatever's happening or changing might require that of you. But know that there is plenty of life yet to be lived and dreams to be fulfilled. And those dreams may be fulfilled in a way that is surprising, or may yet be fulfilled in the way that you once imagined that they would. But divine timing is perfect and it serves you. And I thought that was really beautiful. Her statement on that sometimes there's a sacrifice of what could have been on the altar of our different future. And we do need to release that. And another part of the message that I got in one of the cards was also about being truthful to yourself. And I really want to put this out there for you because the card that I pulled explains your world is changing. It's triggered by the transformations already happening within you as you grow spiritually. You are being asked to run the risk of loss and to open up, to be as real and truthful with yourself as you can be and not be fearful of letting someone or something go. I really resonated with that message. Have you ever felt like, and this is me, and this is me now, have you ever felt like a pinball in the machine, like your life has become a series of reactions to events that come up and determine the path you're on? I have definitely felt this way, like a pinball in the machine. And sometimes that's just because that is life. It's constantly happening around us and it can push us one way or the other. But working to become more truthful with yourself around what you want and what your boundaries are. And it can help you make really empowered choices based on your truth versus just reacting to everything that keeps showing up in your life. And so I really resonated with this because I really feel like for a lot of us, I know a lot of my clients and my peers who I'm talking with about all this change that's happening or all this energy around transformation and expansion is I think that a lot of us, when we ask ourselves the question around how we feel, what do we want? A lot of us don't really know. We kind of get a little bit deer in the headlights, right? And so it feels really good to sort of sit with that and start to tease it out a bit and give it a little space, right? To really actually decide what is it that you want in all this potential change that's happening. What is it that you want to feel like? What is it that you want to, how do you want to be in it? And what would your life look like as a result? Here's what I know, and this is the truth. The change that is coming is here to raise up your vibration. As you see your world changing fast or slow, either way, a transformation's been triggered. So imagine that in your life, that a transformation has been triggered. The seeds have already been planted. Sometimes when this change starts to create a spark, we start to become more and more uncomfortable with the old life. So I just want to put into this little pep talk here that it's okay if the old ways, the old people, the old things, the old habits, start to fade away and start to feel less important or start to feel less comfortable. It's so strange how this shift can seem so silent and then suddenly you blink and it's really freaking loud and your relationships are changing or your work, life, career is changing or your family or things that are happening all around us. So here is the deal. You can resist the change, but I don't suggest it. I mean, yeah, it's an option for you to get smaller, constrict, and want to hide and want to resist the change. But maybe you could do it differently right now. Maybe you could really open yourself up to it. Maybe you could trust and feel safe that it's okay. I get it. It's hard outgrowing an old life before the new one has come to be. I call this, in my practice, I call this the in-between. And this time can really mess with us. Like the in-between is the hardest. This is where we grieve the most. We feel the most lost. This can cause us to resist change. This gives us that resistance is the in-between. It's like the hardest time because we feel a lot and cling to the things that might be moving out that we're supposed to be letting go of. That's what I call resistance, is when we kind of cling to the things or we hide from the things that we should be stepping into and cling to the things that, even if they're uncomfortable, it feels better to stay with what we know versus what we don't know. And I really want to tell you in this process and be very clear that your emotions are really important. Your emotions have merit. They're useful. It is through excavating this internal world of yours that you probably are just pushing through and trying to keep going. But this internal world, your emotions, that you can start to have tremendous impact on your external world by knowing and processing your emotions. It actually helps the change outside when you make the change inside. This is the time for you right now. I want to say to you, this is the time for you to feel how you feel. This is how we get to our truth. Of course, it would be so lovely if you didn't have to go through conflict, pain, loss, any of this hard stuff. But here's my advice. Stay on course. Find ways to inject superhuman energy into your life to help you launch forward. Because we need a kick in the ass sometimes, but it doesn't have to be scary or bad. We can kick ourselves in the ass by taking small risks. I'm talking about brave leaps and risks that exhilarate you. It is right now, feel your feelings, but it's also the perfect time for you to bite the bullet and do something that scares you a little bit. It will teach you that you can do hard things, you can jump into the unknown even a little bit, and the reward of feeling the high will move you more quickly through it. This is a really good time to jump into saying yes more, like maybe yes more than no's, trying new things, meeting new people. Start to shift your mindset into welcoming the new instead of clinging to the old. I want you to just shift your vision onto what you're moving toward instead of what you're moving away from. Those are your goals. Right now, you can do that. You can start to shift into whatever the shift that's happening. Even if you weren't totally conscious that a shift is happening, there is, I promise you, there's some shift happening. And if you were to just start thinking, what would I be moving towards right now if anything were to shift in my life? If the little nudges that I'm having in an area of my life were to shift, what would I be moving towards? How could I kind of take small steps and jump forward? And even if you don't know exactly, what I'm trying to say, I hope clearly, is that even if you don't know what you're moving towards just yet, because a lot of us won't, I'm asking you to consider just bringing new things, new people, new experiences. Just start trying new experiences more often, because here's the deal. If you are feeling these winds of change, or you just know, I am feeling kind of this expansive energy, but it's really hard and exhausting, Michelle, and I'm being asked to spread myself too thin, or whatever is happening for you. But if you're feeling these change and expansion upon you and around you, a healing event is taking place within you. So if you're feeling it around you, a healing is taking place within you. And it may feel like turmoil, but your expansion is truly a healing event for your soul. It's a healing event for your soul's growth here. Try your best to acknowledge this as often. The stories we tell ourselves can make or break the experience. They certainly change how we perceive it. So now stay with me for a moment. This is where the pep talk really gets a little peppier. So stay with me. I want you to hear this, whether you know it already or not, whether you're familiar with the concepts or not. I want to say to you, you are an extension of non-physical source energy. It is swirling all around you. It is swirling within you. Source energy is a glue that holds your physical body together. It's at the center of every cell in your body, as well as the coffee table in your living room or a piece of debris floating in space. Under a microscope, it boils down from cell to energy moving at the speed of light. For those that can see and feel energy, it's like an ocean of energy swirling everywhere. And here's another truth. You were designed to withstand everything that you're going through. And even more importantly, you signed up for it. Just imagine this for a moment. Okay, just imagine that you helped to design a plan or a contract of sorts before you came down here on earth to be born. Imagine you were even eager for all this stuff that you're dreading right now. Imagine that you were eager for it. You saw the promise of all the opportunities to give birth to exciting new ideas and make decisions and take actions that created a life beyond where you have ever been previously as a soul. That's the expansion that's constantly happening here. The stuff that is feeling really uncomfortable here is also the things that are serving you deeply to go beyond where you have ever been previously as a soul. You are made of ancient energy. The energy you're made of is ancient. There is not anything that is more powerful than this. Source energy is the energy that created worlds and planets. It flows within the vibration of love, and this God energy, source energy, spirit creator, however you speak of it, put words to it, has created you to be here in this moment. And you were created to be ready for more and to want more because you are meant to evolve. There is no question of your worth or whether you're good enough or enough. That's just some weird cord wounds we picked up being human here. That is just the work we're here to work through. But the only truth is that you are worthy. We are all the same. We are all made of the same magical stuff. No one has more of it. No one has less of it. Some of us are just more aware or awake to it. So this is it right here. I want you to take a breath, breathe in some of what I'm telling you. Imagine this is all true. Everything is lining up for you as we speak. It's time for you to awaken to this tsunami of transformation that might be brewing all around you. You know, if it wasn't, I don't know that you would have clicked play today on this particular episode. Or perhaps even continue to listen until we got to right here, right now. So I am here to encourage you to release your fears over this inevitable growth and know there is light on its way. The gifts that are coming might be beyond your wildest dreams. Try not to let your pea-sized perspective hold you back. You only have the view right now. You can only see from the level where you are at. So when you expand and rise up through the discomfort of what you're going through, you're going to see a new view. Things will settle and it will normalize. And wherever you're going next, you'll have a whole new expanded view. You got this. And so it's really about leaning into it versus hiding from it. So here's your assignment. 1, I want you to feel your feelings, okay? I want you to attempt not to just push them down, right? I don't want you to push down, get busy. I want you to try to find time, space to feel your feelings, touch base. Even if it's saying, okay, for the next few weeks, I'm just going to say 10 minutes here or there even. I'm just going to sit down and ask myself, what do I feel about this? What do I want? Lean into the possibilities of the change that are happening and what that may mean to you. What are you clinging to? Are there things you're ruminating over? Are there things you are fearful of or hurt over and that you need to heal? Dedicate time for it. And honestly, if you're like one of those people, like, I can't access it, Michelle, I can't cry. Watch a sad movie. Just let it flow because it's still a release. It's still emotional release and it's cathartic. So that's 1, is feel your feelings. But I also want you to lean into the wisdom that your feelings are trying to teach you. Because your feelings are a form of intelligence. They are part of the package when it comes to intuition and other things. So they are trying to show you and teach you the why behind the expansion. If you're feeling sad and hurt or lonely or things that are happening or misunderstood or not seen, all those things, they're trying to teach you the why behind the expansion. And that experience of knowing the why will help you move forward. They are very important signals. They want you to know what is not working for you at this level any longer, right? They want you to look at what's not working. They will help you intuit what is to come next. And also pay attention to what sparks the positive emotions too, right? Joy, excitement, what lights you up a little bit, when you allow it in. Continue to do this while also, and this is sort of like step 3, I want you to continue to do this while also trying to raise up your vibration right now. It could be easy for you to, start kind of really getting into more fearful thinking or feeling off kilter or overdoing all the things, and could be leading you to burnout. Whatever's happening for you in your life right now, I want you to take a moment and just think about how you want to think and feel. When you think of that higher version of yourself at the next level, like what kind of thoughts would you have? Would you get up and say, this is an amazing day. I am so excited for the gifts that I have today. How would you feel, right? Would you feel kind of like this kind of exuberant energy, like, wow, this is an exciting day, right? Sometimes we're so stuck in a rut of habitual thoughts and feelings that we have to step away from them and start leaning into trying to create new thoughts and feelings. Sometimes we actually literally have to choose to have those thoughts and feelings until they start become habitual. So look for opportunities to embrace change. Again, I want you to try upping that amount of new experiences, new people, new places that you can say yes to. I promise you, give it a try. Just look around and say, what are some opportunities I could do right now? Is something I wouldn't normally do. I would say no to that. Or I would just hang in instead of go out. I would think that sounds cool, but I should just go home, right? All those things that maybe were little safety measures in place that have you kind of clinging to the comfortable. I want you just to notice what are some opportunities that I can get a little uncomfortable and have new experiences. Because you, my friend, need to find some of that magical, exhilarating energy when you take chances, you use your gifts for good. Because I promise you, you have gifts. You can use them for good. You can get out in the world and make changes, whether that's connecting with other people, whether that's, career or just even in your parenting. All of it are places where you can shift how you love, how you show up, how you are, how you be. And those are gifts that you give out. And so really looking for how can I embrace more newness and start moving towards newness. And my last statement here is that I want you to know how incredibly special you are. You are so unique. And I know we all grew up hearing that, there's nobody else like you. You're the only one. But isn't that kind of crazy? Isn't that kind of amazing that there's millions and millions and millions of people in the world and there is really only one you? It's kind of nuts. It's vast, right? It's big. And so are you. And energetically, if you might be playing a little bit small, I just want you to know you are special. You have meaning here. You are here for a very good reason. You have already fulfilled so many points of purpose. You have already helped. You have already shown up in ways that have changed lives of other people. You have already look back, look behind you. Where were you at 5 years ago? Right? You have already made massive changes. You have already said yes to the unknown. You've already done it. You know, and you've shown yourself you are capable of that. Look back to where you were 5 years ago, to where you are now, at how much you have grown. When we have to look at how we're doing, right, we don't look forward, because when you try to look at a goal that you have in front of you, that is always going to sell you short. You're never at the goal yet. And so you're looking at this horizon that's always in the distance and not measuring up. You want to look behind you, right? This comes from a really fabulous book that I love called The Gap and the Gain from Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Great book, great concept. So here you are. And I really want you to embrace that. Perhaps journal it. Look back to where you were 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and how much you have changed and grown. And it's still happening right now. things are percolating all around you to set you up for some really good stuff. And you just have to say yes. And you have to put yourself out there, maybe before you even know the how or any of it. But just start to develop your why. Understand your emotions, put yourself out there, listen to your intuition, and just give it a try. I am cheering you on from the sidelines, my friend. I am so excited to embrace this and also go through my own changes here, which also are kind of crazy. I'm with you in this journey, okay? So I am hoping all the best for you throughout the week. I will talk to you again next week. Be well until then. Thank you for listening to Into the Work Therapy for Empaths and Seekers. Don't forget to grab your free gift, your Shadow Work Transformation Bundle at michellepoverman.com. I've included everything you need to get started to break through the patterns of self-sabotage and finally start to heal the parts of yourself that are getting in the way of truly reaching your potential. From a powerful meditation designed to help you meet and embrace your shadow self, to the guide that's full of curated prompts and important questions to support you on this journey. This really can be the work for you to unmask the root cause of all the issues you've been experiencing, honestly, and start to feel free to believe in yourself and go for what you want. The link for this free bundle is in the show notes. And if you like this episode, I would be so grateful if you could take a moment and rate, click and follow, and leave a review. Of course, you can always follow me on socials at Michelle Poverman. And keep in mind, as you embark on your journey from spark to brilliance, remember, the universe is always conspiring in favor of your awakening. Everything that's happening is in support of you lighting your own fire within. So until we meet again, may your path be well lit and your heart be guided. Shine bright, seekers. Until next time.